Ma'am, one of the things that happened with regard to this particular issue is that there was a hearing that was scheduled involving this, what time did this allegation happen? When do you claim that, we know the date, what time do you claim that you saw this masturbatory activity?
It would have been in the afternoon after my morning shift.
And what time would that have been, ma'am?
I don't know the exact time, but it was afternoon well before it was dark. It was still light out.
Okay. Can you be more specific? Was it noon?
It was after noon.
All right. Was it 2 o'clock?
Objection. Ask and answer. Shirley says she knows what time it was.
Restate the question.
If it was so noteworthy, why can't you remember the time?
It was kind of traumatic.
So, what? Just because weren't your senses heightened at that time that you saw this? Didn't you get angry or upset?
Objection. On the question.
Were you angry?
I was sick to my stomach.
Ma'am, were you angry?
I was not angry.
Were you angry?
I became angry later, but not in that moment.
Were you angry at that time, ma'am?
I said not in that moment.
So the answer is no, right?
Yes.
Were you upset at that time?
Yes.
So if you're upset, aren't you kind of, your senses heightened at that time to know the time?
Objection. She said answer the question.
Can you repeat that?
Weren't your senses heightened because of this anger to at least know the time so somebody could check it out?
Well, you said because of anger, but I wasn't angry at that moment.
Well then, you see this, you're not angry and you're not upset, right?
I am upset.
Oh, you are upset. If you're upset, don't you think that that would have heightened your senses over what you just saw?
My mind doesn't work like that.
So the answer is no then, right?
Objection. Ask and answer.
It kind of moved in slow motion, so if that's heightened...
Is it yes or no, ma'am?
It's kind of a matter of opinion. I don't know.
And I'm asking for your opinion.
Again, ask and answer. She can't speculate.
Overruled.
Whether it's heightened, my perception of things, is that your question?
Right. At that time when you're viewing this, the way you described this, bad act.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it's something I'm never going to forget, that I wish I could.
You're never going to forget it, is what you just said, right?
That's right.
But you have forgotten the time.
I know it was the afternoon.
Ma'am, I'm asking you for the time.
Objection. Ms. Characterized her testimony. She said she doesn't know the time.
Restate your question. Sustained.
You said that you'll never forget it, right?
The incident.
Right. And I'm asking you, isn't it true that you forgot the time?
Objection again in Ms. Characterized her testimony. She said she never knew the time.
Sustained. Rephrase.
You said that you had just been out from Mimi's Cafe, right?
For a little while.
Pardon?
For a little while. I was off work for a little while.
You worked at Mimi's Cafe, right?
Yes.
You had been working that day, right?
Yes.
Your shift was over, right?
Yes.
What time did your shift start?
It varied.
That day, what time did your shift start?
In the morning.
What time?
Sometime in the morning. I don't know the exact time.
You don't know the exact time, yet you knew that you had to be there on that day at a certain
Yes.
time? What time does Mimi's open?
I've never opened Mimi's, so I'm not sure, but they open early.
So you don't know the time that it opens, you don't know the time that you went to work, right?
Not the exact time.
Just the morning is what you can give us, right?
Yes, early morning.
So if you went at 10 o'clock, 10 to 12 would only be 2 hours, right?
That's right.
Was it an 8-hour shift, ma'am?
No, they aren't 8-hour shifts.
So on that day, it was not an 8-hour shift, right?
That's right.
How many hours was your shift?
It depended on the flow of business.
I understand that it may depend on that. How many hours did you work on January 21 of 2008 on this day that this horrible thing you claim happened?
I would only be able to tell you a range.
How many hours then? Give me a range. Since what you're telling me is you don't know.
I know the range, but not the exact hours.
So you're telling me you don't know the exact hours, right?
Yes.
And anything else that you would give me would be a guess, right?
Yes.
And, ma'am, do you have, I mean, you had a lot of memory for a lot of events involving sexual instances with Mr. Alexander, yet you seem to be having problems with your memory here today. And you also alluded to a little bit that you have problems with your memory. Is this a long-standing thing that you've had problems with your memory, or is this just something that happened recently?
Objection, compound question.
Sustained.
Your problems with your memory, is it of recent vintage?
Define recent?
I don't know, since you started testifying.
No, it goes back further than that.
How long does it, far back does it go?
I don't even know if I'd call it a problem.
Well, just tell me how far back it goes. You said you were going to tell me, so tell me, please.
How far back what goes?
We're talking about your memory problem, right?
I don't know that I'd really call it a problem.
Okay.
I
Is
just
it,
have, I don't remember every single thing that's ever happened to me in my whole life.
ma'am, your memory issues, we're talking about those, right?
I wouldn't even call them issues, but okay, my memory?
Well, you don't want to call them problems, right?
No, I don't want to call
You
them
don't want to
problems.
call them issues, right?
I don't
right?
know. I really
Right,
don't.
you don't want to call them issues. You just told me that, right?
I didn't say I don't want to.
All right, so can we call them issues then?
Okay.
With regard to these memory issues that you claim to have, when did you start having them?
It depends on the type of memory issue.
If it benefits you, you have a memory issue?
Objection, argumentative, Your Honor.
Or if it hurts you, you have a memory issue?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Well,
When it hurts, sometimes I
ma'am, there's no question right now. You say that you have memory problems, but it depends on the circumstance, right?
That's right.
And give me the factors. I don't want to know about a specific circumstance. What factors influence your having a memory problem?
Usually when men like you are screaming at me or grilling me, or someone like Travis doing the same.
So that affects your memory problems,
It
right?
does. It makes my brain scramble.
So you're saying that it's basically what you're saying is Mr. Martinez's fault that you can't remember things that are going on.
It's not your fault.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that, isn't it?
No, I'm not saying that.
Is there something about a certain decibel of the voice that creates problems?
Decibel, tone, content, sort of a combination of those factors.
When?
Objection, Your
What?
Honor. This is just a stunt. Your approach.
You may.
What time, ma'am, did you get off of work for meetings?
In the afternoon,
Well, hold on. Let me finish the question. What time did you get off of Mimi's on January 21 of 2008?
Objection, answer. She's already said repeatedly she doesn't know the time.
a time in the afternoon.
Can you be more specific
No.
about the time? Why not?
Because I don't think I was looking at my watch or my phone or any other clock.
Where did you go after you left Mimi's?
I went to Travis's house.
You went directly to Mr. Alexander's house, right?
That's right.
And what time did you get over to his house?
I'm sorry?
Couldn't hear me?
I couldn't hear you.
What time did you get over to his house?
Objection, that's an answer. She's already said she didn't know the time.
About 20 minutes after I left Mimi's.
And when you got there, ma'am, did you walk in?
Yes.
Front door?
Yes.
Was it open?
Yes.
Was it unlocked?
Yes.
And you said you walked in and you went straight up the stairwell, right?
Yes.
And you didn't say a word going up the stairwell, did you?
I'm sorry?
You didn't say a word going up the stairway, did you?
I don't remember.
Didn't call out his name, right?
I might have, yes.
And ma'am, in January 21 of 2008, you and he were broken up, weren't you?
Yes.
So it wasn't like you were boyfriend and girlfriend that you went over every day, right?
We were not boyfriend, girlfriend, but I went over almost every day.
Pardon?
We were not boyfriend, girlfriend, but I did go over almost every day.
You're mumbling, I didn't hear you.
We were not boyfriend, girlfriend, but I did go to his house almost every day.
And on this particular day, what were you there to do?
He needed help putting boxes up in his attic.
And had you talked to him about this previously?
Yes.
Was it via text message or was it via some other method?
I don't remember. It was discussed.
Was it via telephone?
Probably.
Well, ma'am, how could you discuss it by telephone if you were working at Mimi's?
It was discussed previous to my shift.
So what time did you discuss it then?
It had to do with, well, it wasn't that day. It was weeks ahead of time. It was about the Christmas things that were in his attic.
So now it wasn't that day that you discussed it, right?
Once I got there, we were discussing it.
I want to know if that day that you claim this happened, if there was a telephone call in the morning.
I don't remember that part.
And if back then, what was your number? We've already heard it, but,
831-402-1901.
and that would have been the number that you called him on, right? That you used to call him. That would have been the telephone that you would have used to call him, right?
Usually, yes.
That was your telephone, right?
Yes, that was my cell phone.
And you say, well, normally I would use that to call him. Pray tell, what other circumstances would there be that you wouldn't use your cell phone to call him?
Landlines.
Pardon?
Landlines.
You had a landline also at your home, right?
There were landlines in the homes where I lived.
Pardon?
There were landlines in the homes where I lived.
I'm not asking about the homes where you lived. I'm asking about the homes on your home on January 21 of 2008.
There was not a landline in that home.
There was not one, was there?
No, there was not.
So you would have had to use your cell phone to call him, right?
I probably would have used my cell phone if I called him that day, yes.
And now you're saying you're not sure if you called them that morning then, right?
I don't think I did because he didn't get up early.
Ma'am, so you're saying you didn't call him that morning, right?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Well then, I thought you said that there was some agreement or arrangement for you to go over there that day.
There was.
All right, what was the arrangement?
The arrangement was after Christmas, when he had packed up all of his things, to put them in the attic.
No, I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about the arrangement, about the time when you were going to go over. I don't really care about what the activity was. What was the arrangement about when you were going to come over, how that was going to work?
Just whenever it made sense.
So whenever it made sense, you were going to go over that day.
Yes, that day was a good day for us.
And you don't know if you talked to him in the morning about telling him that it was that day that you were going to be over.
I don't remember.
And if you didn't talk to him, your coming over would have been a surprise then after working at Mimi's, right?
No, he was expecting me the first time.
How would he be able to expect you the first time if you didn't call him in the morning to let him know you were going to be over that day?
Because it was already discussed.
When was it discussed? Tell me.
It was discussed multiple times in the weeks following Christmas.
I understand that it was discussed multiple times in the weeks following Christmas, but in those multiple times following Christmas, did you pick a date? January 21, let's just pick December 26th. You said to him, on January 21 of 2008, I'm going to come over and help you with the Christmas decorations. Is that how it worked?
No,
No, it didn't, did it? You needed, if you had an arrangement, there would have been an agreement, wouldn't there have been?
we weren't that formal.
Well, but you just told me that you talked about it though, right?
It was discussed multiple times, yes.
Right, and so though all those multiple times that you discussed it, you agreed that it was going to be January 21, 2008, after you got off work from Mimi's. Is that the agreement, or is that the discussion?
I don't think it was that specific at all.
So what was the discussion then?
Just whenever we got together to do it.
So then he wasn't expecting you like you said he was when you came over that day.
He was hoping I would come over to help him with those things.
Ma'am, you keep saying he was hoping. How do you know he was hoping if he didn't even know you were coming over?
Based on our discussions.
So in your discussions, you told him, I want you to hope that I come over on the 21st?
I didn't tell him that.
Of course you didn't. The point is, you can't tell us anything about the circumstances of that day, can you?
That's not true.
Well, you can't tell us about the time, right?
Not a precise hour and minute.
You
no.
can't tell us what you worked at Mimi's, right? What hours, right?
Not the precise hours.
You can't tell us what time you got over to his house, right?
Not the precise minute.
You can't tell us if there was even a telephone call that morning, right?
I don't remember if there were calls that morning.
Right. Can't tell us anything. But you can tell us that you walked in and then there was this issue and you went in to help him with the Christmas decorations, right?
Yes.